In some very important ways, I'm glad I'm single now, because I remember when I got out of business school back east at Harvard, which is a great MBA, I came back and I wanted to, actually I did a project with three of my other fellow Harvard MBAs. They picked my project, which was selling survival supplies. Internet wasn't really going then at all. It was just a military thing. And they helped me do a business plan. It was cool. There was a drought back then, in the late 80s. And so I remember I got back and I was pretty excited because, frankly, I was kind of hooked up. There was an irrevocable trust in the family that I was in, a Mormon family. And I got back and I wanted to start this company. And my wife at the time said, especially after that earthquake, Brent, you should do it. And I thought, yeah, I should do it. She was a great support at that back in those days. But since I was kind of going off, and not doing real estate or an approved company or whatever, I remember pretty soon I found that I was cut off from the irrevocable trust. So you might think that a trust is irrevocable, but I guess there's ways that people can get around that. Anyway, I ended up selling my BMW, started my company, and it was even in the San Jose Mercury, and I helped a lot of people get prepared. So I learned a lot about preparedness. But one thing I learned growing up Mormon is that most Mormons could give a flying crap about being prepared, and it was about 4%. And I'd have Mormons come in. Once in a while, you get a serious Mormon. I remember a Mexican lady, super sweet, nice, drove all the way from Sacramento to go to my store, and I ended up driving the van back and delivering a ton of food storage to them, to that family. But most of them would just get a 72-hour kit. They didn't have the foggiest. And then I think some Pacific Islanders came in and they bought a bunch of rice. They go, yeah, rice is where it's at. I thought, yeah, rice, and then I found out white rice, because it doesn't go rancid like brown rice can with the oils after, a few months or a year. So I learned a lot. This is, 25, 26 years ago. So I guess the moral of that little story is you're going to find people that are either your friends or part of your family or people you haven't met yet, and they're going to want to get prepared with you. If not, you just get prepared by yourself. But the thing is, if you think that just because somebody was a Boy Scout or because they're Mormon that they're into preparedness, I'm here to witness to you that you are completely mistaken. And even the government, they forget that. Anyway, there's all kinds of different things. So a lot of Mormons were canceled to get a year's food supply. Then I saw something where you're not supposed to have more than six months or whatever. And there are people like, oh, if you don't have faith if you store food. Well, time for another drink here. I mean, you have little faith if you store food. And I've heard that from Christian people. And immediately you think of Joseph of Egypt, and of course the rest of his family didn't want to store food. They were mean to him. He stored enough for 7 years and ended up saving their lives and a bunch of people's lives. And that's not narcissism or grandiosity. And you get all kinds of accusations. Oh, I've had him. And a lot of the worst persecution has come from that family that I was in. So it's nice for me to be able to live my life out from under the control of people that wanted to keep me in a box. And parts of the family wanted to keep me in a very strict box. And as you know, Man of Truth was not made or born to be in a box. Nope. Freedom. It's all about freedom. I feel like yelling it right now. But it's beautiful here, and it is about freedom. And so as 2011 goes on, look how beautiful. Oh, it's just gorgeous. Nice and quiet. The government can't control your mind. They can't control if I find out if sagebrush is edible or not. Or did I find out that there's 30 or 40 edible plants here in Utah? There's 10,000s of edible plants in the world, all over the place. In fact, most food initially was, of course, wild. All of it maybe was, but then we'll go back to the Garden of Eden and get some people pissed off, whatever. But you have the freedom to store food, to learn what's edible. You don't have to eat bark and snow. There's all kinds of things. And God, if you look at what's going on, I mean, there's food in the winter. You watch the cycle of potatoes and apples, and then the strawberries come out, and then the peaches come out, and then the apples are more in the fall, and the pears. And pretty soon you realize, oh my gosh, if we just had a few people and some fruit trees and knew what we were doing, we could eat like kings, have a blast, be ultra healthy, and it would be like a nirvana society. And so, my friends, we're getting to that point. I just, leaving the Bay Area, I know there's going to be some big earthquakes hit there sometime soon, but you kind of got to think about where you're living. And people can get pretty wild pretty fast. I just noticed that in the 1989 earthquake. Some neighborhoods are cool, others are uncool immediately. And as you know, some neighborhoods are uncool at this very instant. And then you kind of contemplate, well, what about, people on prescription drugs? And you got a lot of people here, doctors here, that put people on antidepressants. Which, I'm with Tom Cruise on that one. That's just ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. And heaven knows there's all kind. I mean, I remember, Dr. Christopher. He started, studying herbs, and he got his inspiration from Joe Smith. He's inspired a lot of people, Dr. Christopher. And he would help people get well with natural methods, and like his stake president, and these people would call up the police. He'd get arrested for helping people out because he wasn't using drugs. And I remember studying that, wow. So there's some people that just don't get it, whether they're psychiatrists or whatever, and they've got their degree on the wall, they're professionals, and they prescribe all kinds of stuff that in the view of a lot of rational thinking people is very toxic for the body. I've seen it happen. I've seen right here. And I know names, and it's pretty bad. They destroy people's lives, and they think they're doing the right thing. And, Actually, I had a visit one time with one of those psychologists, and, you know what he ended up telling my loved ones? That I was so deranged that the earth would be a better place if I wasn't here. That's the truth. That's what that Mormon psychiatrist told the other part of the family. It'd be better if I wasn't here. And so then you start to go, this is pretty heavy duty. When people, if you don't conform and take the drugs that they want you to take, they want you cast out. Fortunately, I was taught by other members of the family, my family, to never give up. Never, ever, ever, ever give up. And so if you're worth $4 or $5 million, you end up in your car and hated because you won't take the stupid drugs that they want to give you or to give to everybody around you, so be it. There's karma. There's karma. And those guys, I think what'll happen to the drug pushers is they'll be sat down and they'll listen to the Steppenwolf song. Maybe they'll have a choice. I believe in free agency, but they ought to listen to that Steppenwolf song because I'm looking forward to the millennium when popping pills is not the way to go. So, we have a lot of changes coming. And 2011, I wouldn't get depressed about it. I know economically it's over. It doesn't matter what Obama says or what Citibank or some economist. If they don't get it, they don't get it. That's fine. You can't change reality. Macroeconomically, at this point in time, you can affect your own reality by preparing. And the pioneers that came out here and had little cabins around here, and some of them died in the snow. A lot of them died in the snow. Kids died in the snow. And when you get it, and your hand starts turning red and freezing, and you're in an era of modern conveniences, you start to think, wow, The sacrifice that people went through to just come here and colonize the crossroads of the West. Amazing what they went through. So that's what I like to do. If I have a chance, is read about pioneers, their journals, how they survived. How long does wood last in a wood-burning stove? How long does coal last in a wood-burning stove? What's a root cellar? Can you leave the potatoes in the ground and they're good the next year and they grow more? I tried it, no. So you learn from experience. All these things give people experience. So I'm looking forward to 2011. I'm looking forward in great shape. Financially, I know it's a disaster, but that doesn't mean for my personal life and your personal life. In fact, this is a great time to get in the best shape ever. Say, whoa, we got to get ready, man. This is the final 3 seconds of the game. This is it. And your preparation, especially your mental preparation, your spiritual preparation, your moral preparation, will be life and death for you and others in the very, very near future. So why not be prepared? Be all you can be. Be the best you can. Go for it. No matter where you're at, whether you're overweight or you feel like your knee hurts from an old football injury or whatever, get ready. Get ready. Get ready to serve others. And my favorite quote, one of my favorite quotes of all time, and then I think I'll jump back in the car because my hand's really starting to freeze holding this. The will to win is not nearly so important as the will to prepare to win. God bless all of us as we prepare for the second coming of Jesus Christ, because that is exactly how I started off my YouTube videos. And yes, that is my belief system. It doesn't matter whether you're Muslim, Jewish, Mormon, anti-Mormon, Satanist, atheist, agnostic, whatever. My first video about 3.5 years ago was an economic warning. Why? Because of my beliefs in the second coming of Jesus Christ and putting it all together, the huge puzzle. We've had some financial happenings since then, haven't we, the last 3.5 years? Well, the second coming's a reality. It's going to happen. So look at your heart. You can read scriptures. You can deny it. You can accept it. You can believe whatever you want to believe. That doesn't change the fact that it's coming. And somebody asked me if they thought 15 or 20 years. It's conditional. People that know the scriptures know nobody knows the day or time, only save the Father only, right? Right. So there are some things that need to happen before Christ's second coming in glory. And if I'm given the opportunity, I'll cover some of those things. So no, I don't think it's going to, it's not going to happen in 2011. It's not going to happen in 2011. A lot of things have to happen before. There's Matthew 24, a bunch of other scriptures I've mentioned. Let's have a great 2011. Let's help other people out. You know, sometimes I remember when I was pretty down and out, and there'd be a guy riding up on a Harley, a friend of mine. I thought, kind of, tons of money, got some new contracts. Didn't ask if I needed $5 or whatever, and I just needed $5. I'm grateful to have been in that position. I'm grateful to have been rejected to that point where $5 was hugely meaningful. A big deal. Maybe even $1.20 to go to Taco Bell. Or to go to a store. Let's be generous with those less fortunate this year. Okay? Because we're going to have ups and downs. You know, if you short the bond, you're going to have a lot of money to help people out. Let's help our fellow man, no matter what religion they are. Because everybody on this earth is our brother or our sister, as I've said before. Rock on, Chell.